Hey, good afternoon, everybody. It's October 25th, 2023, and we are in the Old Testament book of 1 Kings, and we're going to read chapter 18, verse 22, verse 46. All right, we are up to the championship round. So far, Yahweh up 2, Baal up nothing. And now we've got the big matchup. Elijah comes to Ahab and says, all right, this is it. We're going to settle this once and for all. I want you to get all of Israel together and bring them to Mount Carmel. And I want you to get all the priests of Baal and all the priests of Asherah, and we're going to get on each side of the mountain, and we're both going to offer up a sacrifice. We're going to prepare it. We're going to prepare our altar. I'm going to have to rebuild the altar of God that you've let decay. But after we've built it, your priests are going to pray to Baal, and if he accepts their offering and takes it from him, then I'll admit defeat. But it ain't going to happen. So when they're done, I'm going to offer up my sacrifice to Yahweh, and when he takes it, all of Israel's going to grab all these priests, and we're going to wipe them out. Because God is done having Israel limp from God to God. So essentially, what the people are doing, all right, well, we'll go to church on Sunday and we'll worship God, and then we'll go home and we'll put our little shrine of Baal, just in case one of them is more powerful than the other one. So they're kind of going back and forth, and they're not really committed here and they're not really committed here. So this is the end, supposedly. This is showing once and for all that Baal has no power. Of course, big triumph for Elijah and Yahweh. Again, they round up the priests, they kill them, and now Elijah comes to Ahab and says, all right, now's the time that we're going to declare that the drought is over. It's going to rain. You better hurry up and go home, because it's going to rain. And Elijah goes off, and he prays, and he tells the servant, go check. I think the rain's coming. And the servant comes back and says, nope, don't see nothing. Go check again. Nope, don't see nothing. 7 times. 7 is that number of completion. Basically, what we want to see is Elijah never doubts that the Lord is going to do what the Lord said he was going to do. And it rains. And we're done with this section, and we're ready to move on to the next one. So let's go ahead and we're going to read 1 Kings chapter 18, verse 20 to verse 46. So Ahab sent for all the children of Israel and gathered the prophets together on Mount Carmel. And Elijah came to all the people and said, how long will you falter between 2 opinions? If the Lord is God, follow him. But if Baal, follow him. But the people answered him not a word. Then Elijah said to the people, I alone am left a prophet of the Lord, but Baal's prophets are 450 men. Therefore let them give us 2 bulls, and let them choose 1 bull from themselves, cut it in pieces, and lay it on the wood, but put no fire under it. And I'll prepare the other bull, lay it on the wood, but put no fire under it. Then you call on the name of your gods, and I will call on the name of the Lord, and the God who answers by fire, he is God. So all the people answered and said, it is well spoken. Now Elijah said to the prophets of Baal, choose 1 bull for yourselves and prepare it first, for you are many, and call on the name of your God, but put no fire under it. So they took the bull which was given them, and they prepared it, and called on the name of Baal from morning even till noon, saying, O Baal, hear us! But there was no voice, no one answered. Then they leaped about the altar which they had made. And so it was at noon that Elijah mocked them and said, cry aloud, for he is a god. Either he is meditating, or he's busy, or he's on a journey, or perhaps he's sleeping and must be awakened. So they cried aloud and cut themselves, as was their custom, with knives and lances, until the blood gushed out on them. And when midday was past, they prophesied until the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice. But there was no voice, no one answered, no one paid attention. Then Elijah said to all the people, come near to me. So all the people came near to him, and he repaired the altar of the Lord that was broken down. And Elijah took 12 stones, according to the number of the tribes of the sons of Jacob, to whom the word of the Lord had come, saying, Israel shall be your name. And with the stones he built an altar in the name of the Lord, and he made a trench around the altar, large enough to hold 2 seahs of seed. And he put the wood in order, cut the bull in pieces, and laid it on the wood, and said, fill 4 water pots with water, and pour it on the burnt sacrifice and on the wood. Then he said, do it a 2nd time. And they did it a 2nd time, and he said, do it a 3rd time. And they did it a 3rd time. So the water ran all around the altar, and he also filled the trench with water. And it came to pass at the time of the offering of the evening sacrifice that Elijah the prophet came near and said, Lord God of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, let it be known this day that you are God in Israel, and I am your servant. and that I have done all these things at your word. Hear me, O Lord, hear me, that this people may know that you are the Lord God, and that you have turned their hearts back to you again. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust, and it licked up the water that was in the trench. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces and said, "The Lord, he is God! The Lord, he is God!" And Elijah said to them, "Seize the prophets of Baal. Do not let one of them escape." So they seized them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Kishon and executed them there. And Elijah said to Ahab, "Go up, eat and drink, for there is the sound of abundance of rain." So Ahab went up to eat and drink, and Elijah went up to the top of Carmel. Then he bowed down on the ground, and he put his face between his knees and said to his servant, "Go up now, look toward the sea." So he went up and looked and said, "There is nothing." 7 times he said, "Go again." Then it came to pass the 7th time that he said, "There's a cloud as small as a man's hand rising out of the sea." So he said, "Go up, say to Ahab, prepare your chariot and go down before the rain stops you." Now it happened in the meantime that the sky became black with clouds and wind, and there was a heavy rain. So Ahab rode away and went to Jezreel. Then the hand of the Lord came upon Elijah, and he girded up his loins, and he ran ahead of Ahab to the entrance of Jezreel. May God bless the reading of his word, and may God bless you. Bye.